Good morning. Welcome to our first homework how-to. Basically what I'm going to do is I've noticed that maybe you're having trouble understanding just looking at the problems, what you need to do at the homework. So I'm going to go through two problems for each type of homework problem. And that way if you're at home and you're stuck and you're not sure where to start, you can pull this up and it should be able to help you if your notes don't help you. So this is homework help or homework how-to for 6.3. I'm going to look at the first set of problems, and it says write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line shown in the graph. So what we first want to do is recognize that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we know we're going to need a slope, and we know we're going to need a y-intercept. So those are the two things we're going to need to get it to look like this, y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to go through 1 and 4 with you today. So they give us a graph looking at number 1, and it looks like, if we look here, we have to use these 2 points. So we have point -3, 1 and 0, 3. So the first thing we're going to ask ourselves, is there a y-intercept? Because that makes our lives much easier. Is there a y-intercept? And remember, a y-intercept is 0 and some number here. So take a look, y-intercept where it hits the y-axis. One of the given points is a y-intercept, 0, 3. So this is fantastic. So our y-intercept is going to be 0, 3. Or b is equal to 3. So we have one part of the two things that we need to put it in y equals mx plus b form. So then next, we need the slope. Notice you can find the slope a couple ways. You can do the triangle thing to get your rise over run, or we can use the slope formula, which I'm going to use just for some extra practice. So the slope formula once again is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So our 2 points, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So then just inserting these values into our formula. So y2 is 3, and we're subtracting our y1, which is 0. All over our x2 is 0, and we're subtracting our x1 value in -3. So 3 minus 0 is 3, and 0 minus a -3, when we're subtracting a negative, remember that's adding. So we have a positive 3. -3 divided by 3 is a -1. Oh, sorry, that's part of the equal sign. 3 minus 0 is 3. So 3 over 3 is a positive 1. Knew something was up. So this is equal to our m. So easily enough, all we needed, if you look up here, m and b. So our equation for this line is y equals our slope, which is 1, times x, plus our y-intercept, which was 3. And that's all you have to do for that one. So then for number 4, the reason why I chose this one is we look at the 2 points that they give us. Let's see if I can move over here. Number 4. We have 8, 0 and 4, -1. We ask ourselves, is one of these points the y-intercept? No, it's not. We don't have a 0 some value. We don't have that. And they're asking us to use these 2 points. So when we don't have that, that's when we need to use point-slope form. Point-slope form. So the first thing we need to do is find the slope, because we already have 2 points that we can choose from later, but we don't have the slope. So we're going to find the slope. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. It doesn't matter which order as long as you order them accordingly. So y2, I'm going to write down the slope formula again, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is -1, and we're subtracting our y1, which is 0. And then we have our x2, which is 4, and we're subtracting our x1, which is 8. So -1 minus 0 is -1. And then we have 4 minus 8 is a -4. So we have a positive 1/4, a -1 divided by a -4. This is equal to m. Kind of going off the screen here. Alright, so now we have m, and now we can choose either one of these points to help us get this in y equals mx plus b form. So the first step when we were doing that was just writing out the point slope formula. So y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Alright, so let's choose this point to help us. 4, negative 1. It doesn't matter, like I said, which point you choose. So our point is 4, negative 1. This is our x1, our y1. We have our slope. So second step, insert our values. So y minus, that looks like an equal sign. So y minus our y1, so a negative 1, is equal to our slope, 1 over 4, times x minus our x1 value, which is 4. And then notice we do have to do some distributing, so y plus 1 equals 1 over 4 times x minus 4. Alright, and we still have to do a little more work here. We're trying to get it, remember, y equals mx plus b. We want the y alone. So now we're going to distribute this 1/4 to our x and negative 4. So we have y plus 1 is equal to 1/4 times x is 1/4 x. 1/4, I'll do the math over here, times 4, 4 over 1. We get 4 over 4, which equals 1. So a negative 4 times a positive 1/4 is a negative 1. And then we have y plus 1, so the last step is to solve for y. So if we're adding 1, the opposite is subtracting 1. So y equals 1/4 x, minus 2. And that's going to be your answer for number 4. Alright, so that's how you do the rest of these problems here. So then here we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through the points. Once again, if you have to do this, circle what kind of form you're going to be needing to put this in and write it out. So y equals mx plus b. Alright, and I'm just going to choose one of these because they're all pretty much the same here. So, let's take a look. Let's do number 7. So, we have our points 0, 0, and 3, negative 6. So this is basically what we just did in number 4, but we don't have a graph to go with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to find slope first. Find the slope. Because we need the slope for both point slope form and for slope intercept form. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2, and the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have negative 6, and we're subtracting 0, all over 3, and we're subtracting 0. So we have negative 6 over 3, so negative 6 divided by 3 is a negative 2. So that is our slope. And then we're going to ask ourselves, look at the points that they give us. We have a 3, negative 6, and a 0, 0. Does this look familiar? Does 0, 0. We have a 0 and then some value. That is a y-intercept. So we don't even have to put this in point slope form. We know our y-intercept is at 0. So simply, y equals mx plus b. We have y equals our slope, negative 2x plus 0. Or we can just write this as negative 2x. Or y equals negative 2x. So ask yourself, always find the slope for these problems, and then ask yourself, is one of my points a y-intercept? Because that makes my life a whole lot easier and I don't have to solve for y. Alright, so if you have any more questions, please make sure you're stopping in before or after school. Remember to get this done for the next day for full credit, and have a good night.